This is Chris and Sandy with the Chris and Sandy Show. We get up close and personal with some amazing guests throughout the entertainment industry. And today, like I say on every episode, we got a great one for you. Who do we have?
We do. We have Janelle Arthur, who was born and raised in East Tennessee in the small town of Oliver Springs. She was a top 5 American Idol finalist on season 12. She is releasing a song called Hand Me Downs that Dolly sang on, and we are so excited to have her on our show today.
Yay!
Janelle, welcome to the show.
Yes, welcome.
I'm so happy to be here, and I hope I was I muted while I was tuning up? Or was I live? Was I
You were live. We heard it tuning.
No problem.
Oh goodness, I thought I muted it. Well, thank y'all for having me.
You just never know, right?
Never know.
You never know. I thought I was doing it right. Good to see y'all. Thank you for having me.
That's like we had a guest on. I won't say who because everybody knows who it is. But we had a guest on, and when the show was done at the very end, he was leaving, and we talked after the show. But he was leaving the thing.
Yeah.
And he had a hot mic, and he didn't know it.
He didn't know it.
And he comes out and he tells his manager, "Oh, that was awesome."
Yes, he goes like this. Yes,
and we're sitting there like, at least that was good.
Yeah,
exactly. Oh my goodness. Oh, that could have been bad.
It could have been bad. Thankfully, it wasn't.
So, as you know, in the entertainment world, it's been crazy this past year.
Mm-hmm.
So how has COVID affected you, and what have you done to kind of maneuver through this crazy new maze we have?
Well, COVID definitely, stopped us from being able to perform live as much. So in the fall, my friend Jordan Rayner, we decided to just play on people's back porches. So
wow.
Yeah, we were like, okay, we're about to go crazy. We need to do something. We know other people have to be missing live music. So we wanted to bring it to them because we knew a lot of people weren't going to be traveling as much. So we did that. That's one thing that changed. And then, I wasn't able to perform as much just in general. So I was thankful that I got to be in the studio some.
Oh, wow.
And, but yeah, it definitely affected us, especially money-wise. I mean, it was just like impossible to really make money. We usually make money through live performances and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely taught artists to kind of put aside money now.
Oh, yeah, because you don't know what'll happen. You don't know. Even when the world's spinning just, the way that it always has, it's still hard to make a living in this industry until you're, really.
Yeah, until you're a certain point.
Right.
For us, we launched this show January of 2020. And so a couple months before COVID.
Oh, my goodness.
And we were like, our original plan was to do 100 interviews our first year. And we thought if we could do that, it would be awesome.
A lot of interviews.
And we thought we were pushing it to even think like that, 101 year.
Yeah.
Then COVID happens. And I remember, and as I watched everything start shutting down, I told Sandy, this could be our time to shine because everybody else is going to be free. Well, we're going to take advantage of that because they're going to need a place to talk and give it to them. So we need to step it up. And because of that, we end up with doing over 300 interviews last year.
Amazing. How cool is that?
And now we're at almost 400.
Yes.
Wow. That is so awesome. I'm so happy for y'all. And a lot of people, it's like, I feel like your business either suffered or it boomed. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So
that's crazy. That you're right about that. There's so many people we know to where they lost everything, and then other people we know they had the best year they ever had.
Exactly. So you just know, and you got to be thankful for what you got and make the most of it, and never take it for granted because we sure never thought live music would go away. So
that's true.
That's true.
Yeah.
So, what are some hobbies you like to do outside of music?
Well, I love just relaxing. I'm an extroverted introvert or introverted extrovert. I don't know which way it is, but I am definitely a homebody. I like to be just relaxing at the house, and I love just watching a good TV show. I'm on my phone quite a bit. I do a lot on my phone, but I crochet. I've
Oh, wow.
crocheted since I was about 11 years old. And so I do that occasionally. I'll kind of get on a kick and do that. And then sometimes I read, but I've been listening right now. I've been doing like audio books on tape, and stuff like that. Yeah.
That is awesome.
Awesome.
So, what is something quirky about you that a lot of people don't know?
I don't know. There's probably a lot of quirky things, I guess. Well, I do. I like to do impersonations sometimes randomly. I'm not as polished as I used to be because people used to make me do them all the time. But I would do like impersonations of people and just to make people laugh. So, yeah.
Oh, wow. A lot of people would ask, when did you know you wanted to do music? But I always like to go deeper than that. When did it click that this could be a career for you?
I mean, I think that it was so early on. I mean, probably 4 years old because that's when I told my mom. That's when I kind of started singing on stage and stuff. And I told my mom that I wanted to sing on the Grand Ole Opry. So yeah. And so I had the concept of, hey, there are people that sing for a living, and I don't know if I understood the for a living part, but I knew that that's what they did all the time. And that's what I wanted to do all the time. So I was probably about 4 years old.
Wow. So speaking of the Opry, what was that like that first time?
The first time I had just gotten off of American Idol. And so I was exhausted. I still wasn't back to normal yet. And I was like, but when you're on a show like American Idol, you're after every performance, you're judged.
Yeah.
And so there was like this weird feeling that I had of being overwhelmed. Like, I can't do this. This is the biggest stage that I feel like I could perform on, over the years, your mindset changes and stuff. And that, but I just, for some reason, I was like, I can't do this, and then something just came over me and just was like, nope, you've been preparing your whole life for this. And so I went out there and got to sing 3 of my favorite songs. And I had a lot of adrenaline. When you're out there, especially for the first time, you have a lot of adrenaline. So like my voice was doing things that I wasn't telling it to do. So extra licks and stuff like that because I was just so revved. It was so awesome to perform for a crowd that was that warm after I did on a show where I was being judged and they could say whatever they wanted to me. This was a crowd that just wanted to soak it in and soak it up and loved country music. So it was awesome.
So what was your American Idol experience like? Tell us about what prompted you to go on Idol and what was that first audition like?
What my family's really, they talked me into auditioning for American Idol. And I had told them, I mean, I can't tell you how many people I looked dead in the eye and said, I will never audition for American Idol. And then I ate those words because I auditioned 4 times in 3 seasons. Oh, wow. So, the first time I auditioned, I went to New Orleans and I got in front of these producers. You have many rounds before you even get to the judges. So I went to, in front of those people and I was told I was not what they were looking for. Well, I told myself, well, I don't need to get too discouraged because I really think that was just their opinion. And if I can get in front of a different set of producers, maybe they would, send me through. And so I went back 2 weeks later and in Austin, Texas, and made it all the way to Hollywood Week. Oh, wow. Then I went back the next year, made it to top 60, and then the last year, top 5. So.
Wow.
So that shows that, perseverance is the name of the game.
Yes.
Yeah, it is. And, for some people, they go and they audition their first time and they make it all the way and they sometimes win the show,
Carrie Underwood.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so exactly. I mean, she didn't see that coming and there you go. She didn't have to go back year after year. She just, I think it's really about what they're looking for at that moment. It's a TV show. And so
they want ratings.
So the way I look at it, Yes. And it's a casting. They're really casting, they need a certain, you need to fill that position. And so that you need to be that character for their show. So I think really my first 2 seasons, I felt like I was even more, I felt like I'd had some vocal problems the year I finally made it on the show. I felt a lot stronger vocally than other years. And so it was interesting. I think that the first 2 years, maybe they just weren't looking for what I was, or they already had filled the position with some other girl. Because so you just never know. It was such a great experience, and it still opened up doors for me today.
So what was Hollywood Week like?
Oh my goodness. Well, I had the blessing of going through it 3 times. Oh goodness. It was the drama that they show on TV for Hollywood Week. That's not even that's the tip of the iceberg. I mean, it is so, people are so just filled with nerves, stress, frustration, exhaustion. So it is definitely even more dramatic than they can show on TV. Really.
Do you think that gave you an advantage for when you made it through Hollywood Week, because you've already been through it twice?
Oh yeah, there was nothing. Well, and that's what I thought. That's what's so funny. So the 3rd year, I was like, oh, I've already been through this 2 times. I know what to do. This ain't no big deal. I know to expect drama. I know to expect craziness. And then that year, they put me with a group that was they put us together. And I thought, they are putting me with a group where we're not gonna mesh. And this is it. I'm doomed. But it ended up being great. And they made us the last group, and they said we were the best of the day. So.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
I'll take
it. Because that's the sad part about the groups, because you notice that you could have one person that really stands out, but the group could bring them down.
Yeah,
absolutely. And it's just, you never know. You have to look at it. I think a lot of people, they get cut sometimes on American Idol, and they get discouraged because they think they weren't good enough, or they think it was truly based on their performance. But if you've had enough time on camera in an audition with them, and they know what you can do, what taught me is this fact is the fact that the first year I auditioned, I got cut in Hollywood Week, and I didn't know a single lyric. Oh, wow. I didn't know a single lyric in my group song. And I thought that's why I got cut, because I didn't know a single lyric, because I didn't know the words. Well, that same year, Haley Reinhart, she made it on the show. She made it to top 3. She did the same exact song as I did on Group A. She didn't know the words, because one of us, we're all sleep deprived, Yeah. But that's when it hit me. You know what?
They're looking for something.
It wasn't about performance. It was really just about what they're looking for. So you have to keep that in mind and not get down and, just get depressed and think I'm not good enough and I'll never do anything. So that's something to keep in mind if you're auditioning for reality TV shows.
Definitely.
Yes.
Hey, Joe.
Yes, I do.
As tell us a few moments where you look back on your career so far. When we talked about Idol a little bit already, we talked about the Opry. We know that's a highlight, but tell us a few other highlights that when you look back and you're like, wow, I got to do that.
Yeah. A few things come to mind. So probably number one might be whenever I got to perform with Vince Gill on the Grand Ole Opry at the Ryman Auditorium. He asked me last minute to close the show with him. And we ended with When I Call Your Name. I had literally just had the flu, and I had been so sick, and I literally got better the day of the show. I felt better that day. And he's one of my musical heroes, just like Dolly. And I had been listening to him since I was in diapers. So get to sing with him was incredible. And then I think about when I performed with the band Perry on American Idol. That was one of my favorite performances I've ever been a part of.
Oh, wow.
And then getting to do the movie that I did. I was cast as the lead role in a movie called Running from My Roots. So those three things I'm so grateful.
So tell us a fan experience that you've had. I know you got probably 1,000 of them, but one that kind of stands out where a fan went above and beyond, and you're like, wow.
Well, I was really moved one time on the American Idol tour because they would so we had meet and greets before the show and after the show. So it was just a whole day of just a lot of work, very like a lot of hard work, but so much fun. So we had a meet and greet with people where they could just come in, and it was like select people. They must have paid a certain amount to get to do this. And it was the VIP stuff. And we would all be sitting there together, and people would come in and they would stand with us to get a picture. Mm-hmm. Well, typically people would come in and they'd say, I want to stand next to, if they had a favorite or someone that they really were rooting for, they would stand next to one of us, whoever their favorite was. Well, this man came in one time and he walks up, and I quickly realized he was blind. And he said, "I want to stand by Janelle." And they walked him over there and put him, they were guiding him over there to me, and he was just standing there, and I just will never forget just thinking, wow, it was so moving to me and overwhelming that he was solely, loving me and what I did on the show. Just purely for my voice. And it wasn't about, how good of a performer I was. It wasn't how I looked. It was just all about that my voice moved him. And that was one of the most touching, things, especially like during the American Idol experience, but probably like ever for me. So
I love that. Now you've opened for a lot of major artists. Tell us about those moments, and how do you get on that stage and try to convert their fans to become your fans? How does that process work for you?
I think that you definitely think about you go through your set list. For me, every set list changes depending on even if I'm not opening up for somebody, but if I know the type of crowd that I'm playing for. Yeah. If I'm playing for an older crowd, I'll throw more classics in there. If I'm, playing for a younger crowd, my friend and I, we had some songs worked up. We did like a 90s pop kind of, section in the show that we did last year. And so you just kind of play to the crowd, and you try to be as versatile as you can. And then that way, hopefully whenever you're playing to that crowd, they'll respond to you and like what you do. And luckily the people I've opened for, I've been kind of similar to in my sound and everything. So that kind of helps.
Oh, wow. Now let's flip the script a little bit and go the other way. As you know, a lot of people, they see the glory of a Blake Shelton, of a Miranda, of a Carrie. They don't see the grind, the sacrifice, the tears, the struggles that they get, not just to get to their level, but even a career level within entertainment. And we always want to talk about it because I think a lot of people gloss over that. So let's talk about that a little bit. Let's talk about some of the sacrifices you've had to make and mental struggles that you've had to go through to get to where you are today.
Well, I will say this. It's hard, even if you haven't been on a reality TV show, but I'd say some of my struggles were, getting off of a show like that, and then you are sleep deprived and you can't eat as much because you're so nervous all the time. So a lot of us, we struggled with our adrenal systems. They kind of, were depleted, honestly. Wow. So it was it became even like a physical struggle, not just, mentally. It kind of messed with us in that way. But, just overall in general, just being a singer-songwriter, I wish that someone had told me, honey, it doesn't matter how good you are. Talent is expected. What you need is money. What you need is money. And so I wish someone had told me that, because I might have tried to save up a little bit more. It might not have been that much, but I would have probably saved some more money. But yeah, it's all because I thought it was mostly about talent. I thought if you're good enough, then you'll make it. But really, it's just so much more than that. Talent is kind of like the expected thing.
I'm sure Nashville taught you that
yes,
when you walk down Broadway.
Yeah, and you just don't talent is like, there are so many talented people. Talent is just the norm. It's really what gets you ahead is, the who you know and how much money you can put behind everything that you're doing. It takes so much more money than you realize just to get a CD done, or sometimes you play a show and you have to pay your band, and sometimes that's $1,000 or more just to pay your band for one night.
Yeah.
Wow.
And people pay thousands and thousands of dollars to make records or EPs, and it takes a lot of money, but it's definitely worth it in the end if you can make it all work. A lot of people have done it.
Like we had one of our friends on last year, and he was talking about this, where he says a lot of people think I'm making all this money right now. He says I'm not even showing a profit yet, because there's so much money that's got to be put in. So every dollar you make goes right back in, and so you're not even, and you still got to use some of your personal money to make it work.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, but at the same time, I mean, just like my parents, they sacrificed so much. I think my dad sold one of his cars one time just for my mom and I, so we could go to Texas for me to audition again for American Idol. Drive and stay in hotels and stuff like that. And so, but they wouldn't trade it for anything. And I'm so grateful that they were willing to do that, because I wouldn't be where I am without that sacrifice either. So.
And that's great that you have that, because not every artist has the backing of their parents. And I wish parents would understand, because, I think a lot of times parents see your Blake Sheltons out there, and then they see the person on the street that's trying to sing for money. But they don't realize in music, there's so many levels. And there are people that are making a full-time living that you'll never see on stage.
That's right. That's right. There is a place for, every level, and they don't understand it. Hey, if you just will put a little, effort and support and money into something, eventually it usually does pay off. And I think people they have no vision. They are small-minded people, and they don't know, hey, the big picture here, there could be something really good at the end of all this. And some people, they're not willing to go through the hard stuff and put the money into it. And
that's why they call Nashville the 10-year city, because the people that make it, normally they're 10 years, and the other people leave before they make it to that point.
That's right. That's right. A lot of people get discouraged, and that's easy to do. It's easy to get discouraged.
Especially when you have people that's supposed to be friends and relatives, because, not everybody has the positive influence. A lot of them are like, why won't you give up on that stupid dream? Just go get a regular job. Go do this. So you have the world around them telling them, you know what? It's just too. You're never going to make it. You're never going to amount to nothing. You're never going to do this. It's not going to work. And then they got this dream that they're trying to feed, and it's like, who do they listen to? And sometimes they got this great talent, but they listen to the wrong people.
That's right. That's why your circle is very important. You got to keep positive people around you. You got to keep people around you who believe in you, even whenever you've stopped believing in yourself. I mean, my manager, Stephanie Gastley, I definitely would have probably given up if she hadn't have come into my life and encouraged me and been willing to work whenever I was just saying, what am I doing? And she was going to bat for me and sending out emails and reaching out to people. So, I think that your circle definitely matters. And also it matters because even whenever you don't need people in your ear telling you anything negative, because the industry's hard enough.
Yeah.
Because you're going to get rejected from, from the people that you're having meetings with. And that's just normal. I mean, Elvis was told to keep driving a truck. I mean,
Wow.
That's crazy.
That's crazy, ain't it?
Yeah.
yes. And I mean, people like Garth Brooks, he was told just to keep his day job, you know, I mean, all
And
these
Luke
different
Combs.
things.
Yeah.
Remember Luke Combs put out a tweet
absolutely.
a few years ago. I think he said something like, "Thank you to the CEOs that told me these 6 songs would never work, and all 6 went number 1."
Yes. I mean, and that's what it's really about is exposure. If I think that a lot of great songs are finally getting some exposure and they can really do big things. It's that there are gatekeepers sometimes that stop it from happening. So, but he went out there and did it, and he had fans, and that's one reason I guess why TikTok is taking off so much.
Yeah.
People are getting their music out there.
And we understand what y'all go through because, as a show, we're chasing the same crazy dream that y'all are chasing, just different platform, because we want to be the Bobby Bones, the Ty Bentleys, the Kelly Clarkson show. We want to be that. So it's like, we get the rejections just like y'all. So that's why I really love what we do here, because we can empathize with what y'all go through.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So you're going to perform a song for us, aren't you?
Yes, I sure can.
So the floor is yours, and tell us about the song.
Tell us about it.
Okay, so this is a song that is about my grandmother's front porch swing.
Oh, wow.
I grew up right down the hill from her house. I would run up to her house every day and play on the porch and swing on the swing, the front porch swing. And I not only, did I go out there and sing, but she would come out and sing with me too and teach me different songs.
Oh, wow.
And so I'd make her sing harmony with me, and then I'd sing harmony with her and stuff like that. And so I wrote this with Dana Jorgensen. He wanted to write a song, and he got to the chorus that said front porch swing, and I was like, oh, this is my story. Like,
wow.
So it's been one of my favorites of all time that I've had the pleasure of co-writing with somebody. And it's really about just the way that I saw the world at that time in my life. I wish I could see through those same eyes again. It was kind of before I saw the ugly in the world, and when I didn't have a care, and just wishing I could go back to just that way. I say life can be beautiful, but how awesome would it be if it was really the way that it seemed? So it's called Front Porch Swing.
Awesome.
I still hear those old wind chimes, the smell of Grandma's homemade pie, the family singing Amazing Grace. Back when Grandpa had his health, and every day I'd hear that church bell, I still remember the day they took it down, when life made sense and worry wasn't on my mind. Innocence was in the air and my heart was blind. Sitting on the front porch swing, I'd stay for hours if Mom would let me, singing Jesus loves me. This I know my safe place was home. Now I'm years and miles away, and some days I wish life could be just the way it seemed from that front porch swing. It ain't always like we plan. Real life sets on in, and you realize Daddy ain't Superman. Seasons only last so long, and just like that, love is gone. And sadly, you never see the world the same. And when you're young, you can't grow up fast enough. Well, now that I'm here, I can't stop wishing that I was sitting on the front porch swing. I'd stay for hours if Mom would let me, singing Jesus loves me. This I know my safe place was home. Now I'm years and miles away, and some days I wish life could be just the way it seemed from that front porch swing. Well, I know it's just some wood and some chains, but gold and silver could never even pay. No, I'd never trade. Sitting on the front porch swing, I'd stay for hours if Mom would let me, singing Jesus loves me. Oh, I know my safe place was home. Now I'm years and miles away, and some days I wish life could be just the way it seemed. Oh, I wish life was still the way it seemed from that front porch swing. And on the swing, this is the song my grandmother would sing to me.
Wow.
Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home.
Wow.
Love it.
Beautiful.
Really
song.
powerful song too.
Love it.
Thank you so much.
And it's so true. You know, as
It is
older
true.
you get back, you look back, and especially before social media days, you know, it's
Oh,
like,
yes.
I know it's crazy. I mean, I think, like, my mother even sent me a video the other day of my little cousin dancing to my new song, and she was just out in the yard and, you know, just dancing around, and I just thought those were the days. She just doesn't even know how good she's got it, you know.
yeah. I'm like, sometimes I'm appreciative that social media wasn't around when I was young, because who knows, I'd have got in trouble.
Well, and I mean, I'm so glad, because I mean, I was so much more creative, probably. You know, I feel like it's a blessing to kind of get bored sometimes, because it forced me to write some songs and play pretend.
Yes.
I love that.
Love
So
it.
as you know, a lot of people, they see you as the artist, but they don't see the teams behind the artist. And in our opinion, they don't get the love they deserve.
They don't.
So on our show, they do. So if you want to take a few moments just to tell us about the team that helped you be who you are.
Well, I mean, I gotta say, first off, I'm so thankful to God for, you know, giving me a gift. And I mean, He is the reason why I'm anywhere that I am. And no matter where that is, no matter how far it goes, I'm grateful to Him. And then, of course, my parents, they are my team as well, because they have, without their sacrifice, I wouldn't know half of what I know.
Wow.
And they weren't musical people. They weren't musical people, but they encouraged me, and they let me go through these doors that I would have never been able to go through otherwise. And then, of course, I have my manager, Stephanie Gastley, and she is just incredible. I couldn't be, you know, doing half of what I'm doing without her help and encouragement and her expertise and everything. So I'm so grateful for her. And there are so many more that I'm probably, you know, not thinking of. I know that Vanessa Davis has helped me so much. Eileen Roberts. I just have so many wonderful people. Craig Campbell, and a lot of my songwriting friends, they just believe in me, and that's kept me going too.
So the artist Craig Campbell or the PR Craig Campbell?
The PR Craig Campbell.
Yes, we know.
That's funny. And I think recently they just teamed up.
Right?
It's pretty cool is that they just teamed up too.
That is cool.
They teamed up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I seen a thing on Facebook where Craig Campbell is now partnering with Craig Campbell.
Craig Campbell squared. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
Gotta love it, right? It's funny. when I learned that there was a Craig Campbell PR person, I told Sandy back then, I was like, they should team up sometime. That would be cool.
Yes, you did.
Hilarious. I'll have to talk to him about that. Yeah. Craig and I, we worked together some, and I'm so grateful just for everybody, especially right now, who's helped with hand-me-downs and helping us get all this stuff out there to the world. And even Sherry Cranford, I'm so thankful for her as well.
She's awesome.
Oh, she is awesome.
And Craig is awesome too.
Oh yes, they're both awesome.
Yes, I'm just blessed because I have a lot of people that are helping me that have just good hearts, and that's really what it takes, because you want to trust who you're working with, and that matters a lot to me.
Important.
Most definitely. So speaking of teams, we have a third co-host, our 9-year-old.
We do, yes.
And Sandy's going to go get him.
Okay, his name's Christopher.
Yay!
And we've got a 2-year-old daughter that when she gets older, she'll be plugged into the show too, because we are a family affair.
Awesome. I love it. That's so great.
Yeah, I can't imagine he's been in not every episode, but he's been in probably 95% of the episodes that we've done.
That is awesome. He's got to be well behaved then, I guess. To be able to
and since we homeschool, we can do, because we always do right around 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon on the show. So, eventually we'll probably put him in private school in a few years, and he might not be able to then participate then with us, but we'll have had all the fun.
That's right. And he'll have that experience. That's so awesome. Hey, Christopher.
Hi, Janelle. So what's doing good? So what's your favorite food?
My favorite food. I love ice cream. Love ice cream. Do you like ice cream?
Yeah, I do.
When you're allowed to eat it.
Yeah.
What's good?
Mine is pizza.
Pizza. Ooh, I love pizza too.
Pizza and ice cream go good together, right?
Do.
Yeah, so make it an ice cream pizza.
Not sure they'll go good together like that, but hey.
Put bacon in ice cream. Why can't they do,
True.
Okay, so what's your favorite TV show?
A favorite TV show. My favorite TV show of all time is probably The Golden Girls.
Oh, wow.
I'm sure you haven't watched that show. It's kind of, for older people probably, but I love that show. And believe it or not, when I was 11 years old, that was my favorite show when I was only 11.
Oh, wow.
Only 11?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's yours?
Mine is SpongeBob.
All right. SpongeBob. I haven't watched SpongeBob as much, but I need to watch it now that you told me about it.
And what's been pretty crazy is he watches a lot of the Nickelodeon shows. Because we bring on both artists and actors on our show, we've been able to bring a lot of Nickelodeon actors on our show that he's gotten to talk to.
How awesome is that? Who was your favorite that you got to talk to?
My favorite. All of them.
All of them? Yeah. All of the Nickelodeon stars. That's so cool.
Yeah.
I was watching Nickelodeon too, and Disney.
Wait. I have Disney on right now.
Awesome.
Okay, so what's your favorite movie?
My favorite movie, probably Grease, because it has a lot of music in it, and I love all the songs in it, and just love everything about the 50s too, because I like the clothes that they wore and stuff like that.
Ooh.
What's yours?
Mine is the Minion movie.
Dominion? Oh my goodness.
The Despicable Me ones.
Yeah.
Oh, I need to see, what? I need to see that too. So I'm going to watch SpongeBob and Minions. Okay.
Bye, thanks.
Hi, thank you, Christopher.
Yeah, he loves that. We're preparing him for something.
Yes, he
That's
loves
right.
that.
That's good. Meeting new people and learning how to have a conversation, without being scared of a new person. So that's awesome.
Yes.
And the crazy thing is, we visited Nashville for the very first time a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And talk about, because we're planning on moving out there in about a year.
Okay.
And the craziest thing, the first night we were there, we're walking on by Broadway, and we're about to cross the street waiting on the light.
Yes.
And from Hockey Talk Central, one of the people came out and handed him a drumstick.
Because we were there
and said one of the band members wanted him to have it. So for some odd reason, they wanted him to have it.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool. The funny thing is, we thought that was cool. Then we get in front of Dirk. We get in front of Dirk Bentley Row. And we're listening to the band that was playing there. And he had the pull stick in his hand. I mean, not pull stick, but drumstick. I don't know why I keep saying I'm trying to put him as a pull and a drummer, right? There we go. But he had the drumstick in his hand. And a singer on there, she seen it and come down and says, how would you like to play us drums with us for one song? They put him on stage for him to use that drumstick while they play a song, and they help him out, and they have however many people, and it was packed in there. So they had the crowd cheering for him and all that.
He felt like a star, didn't he?
He did, and he wants it to happen again.
And it was funny. After that, every place we stopped to listen to music, he'd hold it up.
Yeah, he'd stand there holding it. It's like, I got a taste of being on the stage, and I love it.
Oh, it's all over now. It's all over.
It's over. He wants to be a drummer now.
Yeah, once you get the taste of it, it's like, okay, now I want to do this.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you could co-write with any artist, dead or alive, who would it be?
Ooh. This is probably a controversial thing to say, but I love Michael Jackson's music. Oh, wow. I love.
He was good.
He was.
Yeah, I mean, he was just so brilliant. I would love to just have been able to soak in the process. You know, like he would really. He heard everything in his head, from the lyrics to the beat. He would do a lot of beatboxing and stuff, and I just would have loved to have been in the presence of that, type of genius. And and then of course, I mean, come on, who wouldn't want to write with Dolly Parton, one of the best writers that will ever walk the earth, but she writes by herself now. I mean, that's what's insane. She writes by herself, so nobody can really co-write with her.
So in 2015, we interviewed Kelsey Ballerini, and one of the questions we asked her is where she wanted to be in 5 years. I always like to tell this story before I ask the guest that same one, because the answer she gave us when most people didn't know who she was is almost to the T of what she's living right now.
Yeah, she had all planned.
Nobody was going to stop her, and she made it.
That's
so amazing. Knowing that, where do you want to be in 5 years?
Well, I do trust just God's plan. I want to be just wherever He wants me to be, but it would be amazing to just be able to be feeling recognition or whatever for a lot of the years of hard work, and that people will be listening to my music all over the world, and that it will be touching them and really helping them in any way that my music can. And I would, of course, love to be traveling more to do shows, and no matter where it is, I love to travel. And I hope that, the music that I'm making is just better and better, and that I can just be as successful as I can possibly be without changing who I am and whoever God wants me to be.
Awesome.
Oh, love that. So how would you describe your music to someone who's never heard it before?
I would say it's the country, obviously, but I tried to. I've been so influenced by so many different genres that my music is kind of like just a current version of, probably some 90s country, some classic country combined, and then occasionally you might get some blues, like some, soul stuff in there. And so definitely rootsy country. And
there's a new term.
There you go. And music has been a very healing force in my life and to a lot of people. Tell us about a time when music was healing in your life.
I would say, it's always been healing for me. I remember being in a show called Country Tonight Theater. It was a show at Country Tonight Theater, and just being able to sing every day as a teenager and going through all of those teenager emotions and just everything. I really think it helped me. It was my outlet, it was my outlet. I got to sing, and I took out all of my frustrations or my passions while I was on stage. I just left it all out there. And I was so grateful to have had that opportunity because not everybody gets to sing every single day, 10 months out of the year. And so I've thought before, there were so many things. I don't know if I would have dealt with them as well as I did if I hadn't have had that outlet. And so
awesome.
So, as we come to an end here, what would you like your legacy to be? What do you want to ultimately be known for?
I would like to be known for being hopefully a good example, especially to young girls. I would love for people, or like younger girls that maybe don't relate as much to someone who's out there, wearing risque clothing and different things, or singing songs with explicit lyrics. If they're looking for someone to relate to, I hope that they can find me and that they can maybe feel understood and feel like they can still make it and be successful in a crazy world without sacrificing their beliefs and their morals and their values. And that's what I hope that, comes from whatever I'm doing. I hope that I can be successful in just being an example of that.
Oh, that's awesome.
So let's say you had a friend of yours and you heard him or her sing and they have something special. As Simon Cowell would say, they have that it factor.
Yeah.
They've played only about 40 or 50 shows, and they're still getting their feet wet on the performance side. But they've gotten on stage and they got what every artist says, that stage bug, where they look over the crowd's roaring for them, and they know they're in the right place. And they come to you and they say, I know I'm supposed to do this with the rest of my life. What advice would you give that specific person to kind of help guide them the next couple of years?
I'd probably say, work hard and do whatever and do whatever you can, but don't do whatever it takes. Because because so many people, I feel like they say, I'm going to do whatever it takes. If you do whatever it takes, I think a lot of those people are miserable. I really do, because they end up sometimes, stepping on people who helped them get to where they are. You lose a lot of good friends. And I would just say, do your best and work hard. But I say I won't do whatever it takes, because sometimes that means you're going to change in that process. A lot of times not for the best, for the better. But and I also would say just learn as much as you can about the ins and outs of the industry. There are so many things I'm just now learning, and I've been in Nashville for 11 years. And so I think I would say, learn about what the amount of money that it takes to put into this, and just network and get good people around you. That's what I say.
I love that. So as we end here, what's next for you?
Well, I'm hoping to be doing a lot more shows here coming up, and releasing some more music at some point. Don't know exactly when. But I am really looking forward to just continuing to, build on hand-me-downs and hoping that it will really touch people's hearts. And it's interesting, the heartbeat that you'll hear throughout the song is actually the sounds of my mother's heartbeat. So we recorded that. Yeah.
That's
And
awesome.
so if you can, maybe you'll think about that while you're listening to it. But yeah, so I'm just going to be hopefully releasing more music and just doing lots of shows and trying to stay busy. It's a good thing.
Yes,
Love
it
that.
is.
So tell everybody how they can reach out to you, get your stuff and everything.
I'm on all social media platforms. I'm on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, and my website. That's kind of under construction right now. So I'd say just look me up on those social media websites. And I do like to get back to people and message people. I don't ignore people who want to, touch base with me, whether that's about a show or if it's just to say hi and introduce yourself. So definitely reach out to me.
Love that. We really enjoyed having you on the show today, and we look forward to having you back down the road.
Thank you. Me too. I appreciate y'all so much. And bye, Christopher.
We'll let him know.
We'll let him know. Thanks so much for your time today.
Thank you.